Hello, people from YouTube. My name is Ricardo. I'm be your host for today, and we would like to talk a little bit about uh, interesting topic, and I believe that's so useful, because understand the path and the other rules about this topic, personal financial, and the investment is important a lot. And sometimes when do you notice in our primary schools and particularly in Brazil, that's weird, in my opinion. Yeah, I consider geography, history important, certainly is important, and the other stuff too, but sometimes it's not so useful in our regular life. You normally you go to the supermarket and it's a real math, because it's part of our life. So in this case, I believe that the financial math is so important, should be an obligation in any kind of primary school. And yeah, I believe that is important to, I consider important to have this kind of knowledge during all our, I believe that's when you are a student particularly. So in this case, I tell a little bit about me. I'm married. I have a daughter. I work in IT area. Uh, I live at São Vicente, is a small city of São Paulo state. Is one. It's the first city of Brazil, and I consider really important. But unfortunately, it's hard to find a people that know this information. And you, my friend Jefferson, could you tell a little bit about you?
Good morning, Ricardo. Again, I'm Jefferson. I live in Goiânia, Goiás. I'm economist, professor of Catholic University of Goiás. I teach economics, financial, Brazilian development, and international economics.
Mhm.
What else? I'm married. I have two daughters live in Canada. I have three dogs, two birds, a lot of plants. And sometimes I'm here talking in English and in Spanish.
Great, great. Well, let's start to answer the question number one. What are your main financial goals for the next?
5 years.
Well, what happened? Some problem. Oh, have some problem in my internet connection, but come back and see at sequence. Uh, well, what are your main financial goals for the next 5 years? Yeah, uh, I work for more than 30 years, uh, registered in my uh, in some companies, actually during my career. And yeah, there are some time until my retirement yet, around 10 years. I I work uh, in a companies that's possible to face some problems. So I'm not sure how do you say periculoso in English, but a dangerous profession. So in this case, I have to take less time to reach my retirement. Not so much. I believe that I have more, probably 40 years than my regular uh, registers. So, but yeah, I'm more closer than at the end than to the beginning. So in this case, I consider important to save money for my retirement, because unfortunately in our country we pay a lot of taxes, and Sometimes you earn a quantity of money is not enough to pay the regular bills like light or water or other stuff. So in this case, I would like to save a portion of money to help me in my expenses during my retirement. So in, in this case, nowadays, my main goal is save a quantity of money because, as you told, I believe that I have maybe more 10 years until my retirement, maybe a little earlier, but and certainly, I don't know, in the next 5 or 10 years, probably the government will change the law again. I consider I almost right, almost probability is so high in my opinion, but I in my probably I have to or you have to work more than 10 years, but I probably can I'm able to retire in the next 10 years. So in this case, as I told, my main goal is save money for my retirement. And you, Mr. Jefferson.
It's almost the same, my
Yeah,
life as you. It's very important you achieve a specific net
I'm sorry,
worth.
but is a private, you work as a private teacher? Is a regular CLT or you have a profession, you work as a teacher, but is public teacher or not? I'm not sure about the
No, it's
your
private.
university. Oh yeah.
It's PUC Goiás, né? It's a
Oh,
Catholic
great.
university. Yeah.
Okay, great.
Uh, as I said, in my case, it's very important you achieve a specific net worth target. As you said, you need to think about the future, how will be the future. In my whole life, I'm until now, I'm building a diversified investment portfolio. I invested in stocks, bonds, and so on. And the other part that you told that's it's very important, you must to think about retire accounts. And I have a private from Banco do Brasil
Oh yeah.
that I put money there to buy retirement too, and to think about the INSS retirement too. So I contribute to both. And I retire now from INSS, but I'm working, I'm working in a private school and I contribute I yet with Banco do Brasil. That is the point. In my whole life, I established a emergency fund for 16, 12 months of expenses all the time. I try never to pay the bills with interest rate or fee, something like this.
Sure.
I never. I just pay in cash. Okay, if the bill I must pay the bill today, I go there and pay one day
Yes.
before. One day before. This is the practice that I used to do. I book it one day before to pay the whole bills. And what else? In my case, I live it 24 years in an apartment that I paid I pay off the mortgage debt. So I finish in this case. And I save money. I save my money to build a house where I live here. I live in a condo. I
Mhm.
save money for 24 years. I bought a lot and I I I live in a house now, so I pay
Great.
everything. And I think this is part of my financial goals. Diversify, save money, establish emergency fund to have a specific goal. It's very important. And contribute consistently to retirement account.
Yeah. Your profile is similar to me because I until today I have a credit card, but I request a credit card just 2 years ago, probably, and it's rarely I use my credit card because nowadays there are this kind of services, and for example, streaming services or some courses and some like English, for example, English courses that and it's necessary to use a credit card, but it's rarely. Normally, my quantity of money that I use to my credit card is 200 or 300 reais by month. So that's Sweden. I remember right now is not exactly uh, about our conversation, but I I have my company have a fund, a sound kind of like a fund, and it's possible to reserve a part of your salary and invest in this fund. And a couple of weeks ago, I was watching a video about finances. It's a foundation, and the sometimes I believe that's once a month the guys discuss about this topic. And the one of the guys request make a question is a foreigner, and he told why Brazilians love live at dangerous uh, investments. For example, like to make investments, risk investments, and I- ev- every Brazilian didn't understand, and because you just invest in Brazil, Brazil is a a kind of economy that's have a lot of different states. So it's much better if we invest in another country like United States. It's much more secure. I never thought about it. That's really, I have to agree for this guy. But particularly in Brazil, is, for example, I in uh, the same is a kind of class, no? And the guys was tell about the different profiles in Brazil, but almost 100% invest in fixed or this kind of investment. And for example, it's much better when you diversificate to the investments, invest in broken market and in the others kind of. But I don't know. Sometimes is I think that is a cultural uh, thing on Brazil. And yeah, I try to invest, diversify, let my my portfolio uh, invest in different things. But for me, it's easier when they invest in this kind of fund because the guys work uh, better than me, I believe. And my budget, as I told, uh, before I earn my money, my salary, part of this my salary is directly invested in this fund, and sometimes I create a emergency fund and the other stuff because uh, I don't have a exactly emergency fund, but I have a kind of provision that's, well, I don't know if you broke your fridge or something, and the quantity of money is a little bigger than regular expenses. No? So in this case, I consider what's important to you have a portion of money to some problem during our life, and a quantity of money a little bigger regarding exactly an emergency fund. I don't know. Sometimes, for example, a quantity of money you could pay your bills for 6 months, for example. You lost your job. It's I consider really important.
Yeah.
And you, my friend, number question number two.
Yeah, it's the same. Is there difficult to have a specific or a rich rule?
Hmm.
They recommend the 50% for needs, 30% for wants, and 20% for saving and investment. But it's not so
Yeah,
easy. It's not, it
yeah,
depends. It's
yeah.
dependent of the
If you
amount.
just if you just
Yeah,
has a minimal salary, it's not possible to invest. I believe.
yeah, it's almost impossible.
Yeah.
But what's my rule? I receive my salary. I had received my salaries. I see the bills that I must to pay.
Hmm.
I calculated more or less how much I need for to to go to a restaurant and so on, something like
Uh-huh.
this.
It's important.
And I put 1% of the saving and invest it. I do this
Yeah.
because when you invest, you can have an emergency account too. That's my case. I have money
Sure.
in Portuguese in CDI, né? CDB,
Uh-huh.
and if I have, for example, I have emergency, I go there and withdraw the money.
Yeah.
No better, I can withdraw the money. But it's very important you to think, as you said, to save and invest every month. To save and invest every month. No matter 1%, 2%, 10%, 20%. It's very important to have this kind of education, financial
Sure.
education. And I do this for my whole life, my whole life. So you must I don't have apps budget. I only have a spreadsheet. I work with Excel all the
Yeah.
time, and Excel help me to track and categorize my expenses
Hmm.
every month.
I believe that a spreadsheet is enough, but I consider helpful apps, né? Because sometimes you walk on the streets and suddenly, I'd like to pay for, I don't know, ice cream or doesn't matter what. And sometimes it's easier to, well, let me take notes about this uh, expense. Uh, I believe that it's important to have the both. I'm not exactly an organized person when talk about finances, but yeah, I consider a person that, yeah, I face some problems, né? But I consider a person that save have a control in my life and talk about finances. But yeah, is unfortunately in our country you have to face it sometimes hard decisions because, for example, I I believe that my biggest expensive is school of my daughter.
You have only
Unfortunately,
one daughter.
yeah, just one,
Yeah.
and the that's weird, né? Because you waste a lot of money, and sometimes I'm not sure that the education is good, really good,
But
because
there
I
is
don't
no
know.
other way, no other way. Imagine
Yeah,
you put
exactly, exactly.
your daughter out of school.
Yeah, no, I
She
but
will
I
be only works with
no,
TikTok and
certainly,
Instagram and yeah,
certainly. But I'm talk about it, for example, in different countries, for example, Europe and United States, is rarely a person pay for private school at the early uh, years. For example, when you
no,
have a kid, the most part of the the kids study at the public schools. And this, I don't know, if you adding all of money you invest, is a little weird, because probably, uh, uh, for example, in my region, it's hard, almost impossible to find a school where uh, you don't waste less than a thousand reais. So, and the
no,
is I'm not sure about the infrastructure is really good. So, but because of the public school is so bad, so have so problems. In this case, yeah, certainly the private school don't need to invest much money to have a, a better education if you compare in the public school, unfortunately. And for example, my daughter go uh, my daughter done a test in the a couple of weeks ago to try to join a public school in a city uh, neighbor, city neighbor, and unfortunately, she couldn't pass the exam, but have almost almost 1,000 students, and they have just 40 places. And the but half of these places, 20 places, is for considered appropriate for my daughter, because part of is, I'm not sure how do you say cotas, and the half is reserved to coats, no, and the another one just 20. So in this case, have, I don't know, almost 50 kids for place. So it's it's hard. My daughter stood have good grades during all of your uh, education, but sometimes it's hard to face this kind of situation. And yeah, there are another school too, but if my daughter can't pass, I have to waste more money for education. And I consider a privileged person because I have money to invest, but another person, fortunately, don't have. And you, my friend, could you answer the question number three?
okay. Are you more focused on saving or do you prefer to invest your money? I think both are essential.
Yeah.
As you said, you must focus your life
Mm.
is depend on the life stage and financial goals. In my case now, I'm an old guy. I used to save all the time, save more than I was in the past. But and investing all the time, invest takes priority. But savings are crucial for
Yeah.
short, as I said, as I told, short-term needs and
Yeah.
emergencies. So you need to balance this.
Yeah. Is the key
A
word.
percentage of saving, focus on saving every, and to invest. You can invest stock, you can invest in bonds, you can invest in real estate, and you invest in education, as you told, you invest
Hmm.
in the education of your daughter. So that's our life. What can you do in this situation?
Yeah. Uh, about number four, what percentage of your income do you try to save each month? Uh, well, I consider uh, me and my wife have different profiles. Well, my wife is not exactly a person that, wow, just buy everything and the clothes and the other stuff, but is a little different if you compare it with me. So in this case, I consider it important, invest money in some things like, I don't know, hobbies or, for example, travels. Some things I consider important because you just live once, so in this case, it's important to reserve a part of your money to, for example, uh, oh, in other cultures and the other stuff. I consider important to is a knowledge. Doesn't matter if you, for example, go to another city and the in not at a school, but it's a kind of knowledge, important knowledge when you know another place, another cities, maybe countries too, as I consider uh, so important. So in this case, normally I try to invest 10 to 50% of my salary and but not exactly savings, as I told you. A part of my salary I try to reserve to emergencies. Another part I try to use for savings. And investments is just about, as I told you, is just I my there is an entity né, in my company, and the guys uh, control a part of money. And so in this case, I I would like to not to like I should have more interest in this thing, study more. But for example, invest in the broken market is a little hard for me because I have to pay more attention every day. So in this case, I consider closer if my profile, for example, Petrobras or this kind of company that's more secure if you compare another one. That's it. And you, my friend.
I think the most important thing that I learned from this video today,
Hmm.
you have a lot of kinds of investments,
Yeah.
but the best manager is you.
Yes.
You that know what you must to save, you must to
Yeah.
invest, you must to pay the bills,
Sure.
and so on. So you must to control all your income and financial commitments.
Yeah. Exactly.
When are you, as I told, when are you young, it's okay. You love to travel, to buy a lot of things that you never
Yeah.
use it. I have until now at my home a lot of uh, gadgets and some things that I bought in the past that I never use it, but it's here. I really don't know why I bought. It's the
Yeah.
same case of my case and my wife. But from 15 or 10 years, almost 15 years from now, I changed a lot about this. Why I must to buy a lot of clothes, wristwatch or clocks, and so on. You never use it.
Yeah.
Why? So you must think about this.
Exactly.
And as you told, it's very important to think about your life, to go to a good restaurant, to drink a good beer, to talk with your friends, to
Exactly.
travel, and to buy something that is for you, useful for you. And I try to do this, to balance all of this. No
Yeah,
stress. So the
exactly.
most important thing, I think the worst thing in our society, you have a bill to pay and you haven't the money to pay. We live in a society with a high level of debts
Mhm. Yeah,
for families and companies. And I think that is not so good. You must control all of this.
yeah, certainly, my friend. Totally agree with you. Well, let's skip for the question number 7 because this 5 and 6 are a little similar to others. And if you have enough time, you could come back to answer. Number 7 is what strategies do you use to minimize unnecessary expense? Uh, if you I live alone is a different perspective, but I live in a family, and I have to live with some challenges. Not so much because my wife is a, a balanced person, I consider, and the my daughter too. I don't know. That's weird, but my daughter have a balanced profile. When we talk about expenses, is rarely my daughter requests things like cell phones and the other stuff. I just, for example, I'll buy a gift for my daughter, but my daughter normally don't request for my specific things, except for books. My daughter love reads books, and the sometimes, for example, is I have this book. I read this book, but I would like to have uh, in my bedroom. Sound like a trophy. I don't know. And the similar to you, né? I can
Yeah.
see behind of you a lot of books, but my daughter love these things too. And the my daughter used to read 50 books by year. It's weird, man, because I don't read so much books like my daughter. And the I consider uh, a good attitude, a good habit. So in this case, for example, if you have to pay for clothes, I don't, I pay, but it's not so good for me. And for example, when I have to pay for food or books, I it's easier for me. So in this case, I try to, as I told you, when I receive my salary, I reserve a part of money for investments and savings, and a little another part certainly to pay my bills. And so in this case, I use it to pay all my particular, yeah, the 90% or more than my expenses. I use it to pay at the beginning the month when I receive my salary. And so in this case, I reserve uh, parts of my money to everything. And so at the rest of the month, I used to control. So in this case, I have a better view when when I note that I pay my my expenses. And so in this case, I consider a good way to a good strategy that I use. That's it. Angel Jefferson.
You must to distinguish between needs and
Uh,
wants
Exact.
and avoid all the time impulsive purchase.
Mhm.
And you must use shopping list. I do this every
Yeah.
day. I do a shopping
Yeah.
list, what I need to buy, and so on. For example, I have my car, my wife too. She has a better car than I because
Hmm.
when we go to travel,
Sure.
we use the car of her. But I use a simple car. I just go to universe, back,
Yeah.
and some place.
Exactly.
Why I must have
Yeah.
two comfortable car? We have only one comfortable car,
Yeah.
and the
Exactly.
other just to think about the needs of the day.
Hmm.
And I used to cancel everything in use it. For example, in use it subscription.
Yeah.
Spotify, for example, no more. I cancel it.
Yeah.
I'm not.
Exactly.
I don't use Spotify, but I love to use YouTube Premium.
Yeah. I
It's
consider a
very
good one.
good. You see a lot of. I love YouTube Premium because when you subscribe, you don't have advertisement.
Exactly.
So something very interesting.
Yeah.
And I used to do this. I had a subscription from Carrefour for a credit card. In the past, I use it a lot because we have a lot of discounts,
Hmm.
cashbacks, offers, and so on. But now no more. Why I
Yeah.
must to have this and to
Exactly.
pay money for use this?
Yeah.
I so I canceled the Carrefour
Hmm.
credit. I think it's not important to use this. So you must think about this in your life.
Yeah. I consider important sometimes you make a call for your providers and they try to cancel. Not try, nah. Just you just make a call and oh, I'd like to cancel because depends of the service. For example, streaming is
Uh,
not possible to do. But, for example, telephone service, internet service is important.
yeah,
Sometimes you make a call to try, oh, I would like to cancel because you receive a discount the most part of the time. Once a year, maybe it's important to make a call for your providers to try to, because sometimes you watch on TV or social media, a good promotions and you wow, what happened? I pay more than these things, and so in this case it's important to sometimes you make a call and try to can a discount, so I
yeah.
consider it
I
important.
remember when you use Skynet, né?
Yeah.
And my wife loves just one kind of shows, né? One kind
Uh-huh.
of videos and pictures and
Sure.
so on. And I told her why. I never use
Yeah.
Skynet, so
Yeah.
we canceled. And we have
Yeah.
Netflix now. I think Netflix,
Yeah.
uh,
Sometimes it's you
my wife
waste of
loves
money too,
Netflix.
no?
I don't
Yeah.
like Netflix, but sometimes I
Yeah.
watch something very interesting. My wife
Sure. Sure.
loves. So we canceled Skynet and only we have
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
Netflix now and YouTube Premium. Only this kind of streams. Spotify, no more. Because I can watch a lot of videos and so on by
Exactly.
YouTube.
Exactly.
Why I must have Spotify?
Yeah.
Because everybody has? Okay, everybody has, you must have too. Okay, do you have Spotify?
Sure.
Yes, I have. Do you use?
Certainly.
No. Why?
Yeah. I work in uh, a company, a telecommunications company, and I don't receive the services free. I pay for a part. But for example, I have internet, TV, and the telephone, the conventional telephone, not cell phone. uh, So in this case, I can't uh, remove the service because I have a kind of package. So in this case, I pay for a lot of years, but I never used a regular phone. And the so, but I waste less money if you have the the regular phone because that's weird, but is less expensive have the three services than if you compare that to. And a lot of time later, as you, I cancel my TV service because I never watched it. And nowadays I just have internet and some streamings. And I have streaming just because my brother uh, borrow me, and I pay another streaming just for uh, well, my brother
But
make
what kind
a
of stream? Spotify?
no, I have Prime Video and Netflix.
Prime Video.
Eh,
Yeah.
Yeah, my mother have pay for Claro, and they have a lot of different streaming, but I never use it. I never use. I have disposable. I have available in my TV, but I never use it. As I told you, sometimes I turn on the YouTube and the watch some video, but nowadays it's so boring because a long time ago it's not so common have so much advertisement, but nowadays it's really boring. The guys put, I don't know, uh, a commercial with 4 minutes. I don't know. Sometimes it's a little weird, and the sometimes you start and the well, sometimes you notice that there is advertised 1 minute, uh, and after that start the video, and after that, which I don't know, 4 minutes, I have another one. It's so boring. So in this case, I pay for this YouTube Premium, but I don't know if you notice, but if you use the another browser, for example, Mozilla, Firefox, Mozilla,
Mhm.
is there are a good uh, feature in YouTube Premium is, for example, if you minimize the video, stop it. But if you use the Mozilla Firefox, is you could use in the second plan, second. Uh, so in this case, it's possible, for example, to what, for example, when I go to the gym, I how do you say my cell phone? I blocked my cell phone, and the video continue listening. I continue listen the audio
Offline.
from the video,
Offline.
not offline, but
Oh.
I have to use the internet. But for example, if you blocked my cell phone when you have use the regular YouTube application, you can't use because when you blocked your cell phone, the video stopped to play. And if you use Mozilla, it continue using. But don't don't help regarding the advertisement. So it's
Yeah.
really boring. I believe that sometimes it's so over the quantity of the advertisement is so huge that sometimes I let the audio muted just to don't listen.
Yeah. I don't
Uh,
like advertisement. Most of the
yeah,
time, I
yeah,
avoid this kind of advertisement.
yeah, exactly. Particular when you, for example, would you like to make a research about, I don't know, sneakers or other stuff? And after that, the quantity of advertisements for the same thing, for example, sneakers, wow, exploded in your screen. So it's sometimes is I don't know what happened, but I'm not sure if it's fair the guys use this kind of situation. But yeah, is our nowadays is every application uses this kind of thing. Well, uh, I stopped the transmission for YouTube. So in this case, bye bye guys from YouTube. Have a wonderful day.